LeBron James has officially announced that he is joining the Philadelphia 76ers, bringing this month-long saga to an end. The 41-year-old agreed to join Philadelphia on a 2-year, $8 million veteran minimum deal. There, he will team up with Joel Embiid and Jaylen Brown to form a championship-caliber roster. In his announcement, he made his priorities clear. This decision was not about money. It was not about family. He simply wanted to win. For a long time, one perception has followed LeBron everywhere. Whenever he makes a major decision, he supposedly prioritizes the city, his lifestyle, time with his family, and the resources available to him. Every choice he makes seems carefully calculated. But after this month-long free agency saga, the final answer completely shattered that old perception. He had countless safe and comfortable options. He could have returned to Cleveland, where a future jersey retirement already felt inevitable and an arena full of MVP chants practically wrote itself. That was the kind of homecoming that had perfect ending written all over it. He could have gone to Miami, where the ever-calculating Pat Riley had probably imagined countless ways LeBron's final contract could anchor one last super team. The Warriors also extended an invitation, hoping to finally pair LeBron with Steph Curry. That would have been the ultimate basketball spectacle and commercial windfall. Every road had a red carpet waiting. Every road led to applause. He could have chosen any of those teams and finished the final chapter of his career on comfortable terms. But instead, he chose the unknown. He chose the challenge of Philadelphia. His age did not force him onto a minimum contract. He could have pursued a much larger salary elsewhere, but joining Philadelphia required him to accept a massive pay cut. He chose to take money out of the equation himself. A lot of people cannot understand why he deliberately chose the hardest path, because every other option was too safe. Going home offered an emotional ending. Miami offered a calculated basketball plan. Golden State offered a commercial victory for everyone. Every destination offered him a graceful exit. Every destination would have allowed him to finish his career in comfort. But when has LeBron ever accepted an easy way out handed to him by someone else? Philadelphia has no ready-made script. There is no emotional pressure to return home. There is no commercial farewell tour. There is no comfortable place to coast into retirement. There is only a group of players with fire in their eyes, desperate to prove to the world that they are not finished yet. Joel Embiid already has an MVP trophy sitting in his trophy case, but over the past 3 years, his health has held the future of the entire franchise hostage. Tyrese Maxey is 25 years old. He was the league's leader in minutes played, averaging 28.3 points while carrying the team through 70 games. He is one of the most relentless engines in the entire NBA, but he has never had a veteran floor general who could help him pick his spots. Jaylen Brown is 29 years old. He was the 2024 Finals MVP. He finished 4th in the league in scoring last season, yet the Celtics still discarded him as if he were expendable. The pain of being cast aside can fuel a player's competitive fire more than any statistic ever could. This group does not lack talent. It does not lack explosiveness. It does not even lack the desire to win. But it is missing one thing: someone who can take all the scattered pieces and turn them into one cohesive unit. And LeBron happens to be one of the greatest floor generals in NBA history. He has reached the conference finals in more than half of his NBA seasons. Every franchise he has played for eventually won a championship. At 42 years old, he may no longer be the all-around force who can take over every night, but the way he dominates has already changed. He no longer needs to control every possession. He needs to be the glue, the veteran presence that keeps everything moving, the calmest voice in the locker room, yet also the most commanding. He is the only player in NBA history to win Finals MVP with 3 different franchises. That means he understands better than anyone that championships are not created by simply stacking talent. They are created through trust, sacrifice, and chemistry. Some people see this decision as madness, but basketball at its highest level has always required a certain kind of irrational obsession. LeBron does not lack money. He does not lack historical status. He does not lack any conventional form of fulfillment. He only lacked one reason that still felt worth chasing. Philadelphia gave him that reason. A city still waiting for another championship. A group of teammates that has never fully come together. A minimum contract worth almost nothing by superstar standards. and a 43-year championship curse. So LeBron did not come to Philadelphia simply to fill a roster spot. He came to solve a problem. After every honor had already been secured and every possible ending had already been written, would he still be willing to gamble one more time purely for basketball? Then you saw him take that gamble. He is betting on that trophy in Philadelphia. He is betting on the trust between these players. And he is betting that somewhere inside his 42-year-old body, one final run is still waiting to be unleashed. For more than 20 days, the entire league held its breath waiting for an answer. But the real question was never where LeBron would go. It was whether he could still make us believe that basketball was worth this kind of madness. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro even declared July 24th LeBron James Day. A lot of people are now wondering what LeBron's arrival will change. Next, let's break that down. Across the Eastern Conference, LeBron's arrival has completely rewritten the championship hierarchy, with LeBron joining Embiid, Jaylen, and Maxey as Philadelphia's 4 stars. The Sixers have immediately become one of the favorites to win the East. The Celtics, Heat, and Knicks had firmly occupied the East's top tier. Now, a fully loaded version of Philadelphia has been born. The Celtics once took pride in their wing depth, but against the LeBron-Jaylen wing duo, they no longer hold a clear matchup advantage. Neither Miami's newly formed Giannis Bam frontcourt nor the Knicks' championship pedigree can match Philadelphia's balanced and star-studded starting lineup. The Eastern Conference will enter a true gauntlet of contenders next season. Every matchup between elite teams will carry the intensity of an elimination game. The overall level of competition in the East has immediately jumped an entire tier. The Eastern and Western Conferences once again have elite teams capable of standing toe-to-toe. Fans now have even more compelling potential finals matchups to imagine. The league's overall interest and entertainment value have both increased dramatically. The business and economic benefits LeBron brings to the franchise and the city are just as obvious. On the day of the announcement, demand for LeBron's new jersey immediately surged. Ticket market prices for available Sixers games also rose almost immediately. The league is now expected to feature Philadelphia heavily on national television. Philadelphia is one of America's great sports cities, but it had not had a player with LeBron's level of global reach in years, leaving some of its off-court commercial potential untapped. LeBron brings enormous worldwide attention with him. That will directly increase revenue from tickets, jerseys, merchandise, and local game day spending. At the same time, his massive influence will attract more major brands to sponsor the franchise. That new commercial revenue could give the organization more resources to invest in player recovery, training facilities, and other supporting infrastructure. It can strengthen the organizational foundation for the franchise's long-term success. The governor of Pennsylvania declaring LeBron James Day was an extraordinary welcome for a veteran arriving late in his career. An entire state was willing to dedicate a commemorative day to an aging star arriving from far away. Behind that gesture was Philadelphia fans' decades-long hunger for a championship. The basketball energy around the city and the fan base's sense of unity have surged to a level rarely seen. Philadelphia's profile as a global sports city will also continue to grow. Finally, from the perspective of Philadelphia's long-term championship plan, this signing is the definition of low cost and high reward. Even before signing LeBron, the Sixers were operating only about $3.4 million below the first apron, but the front office found enough room to add him without breaking apart the core of the roster. In the short term, the team immediately has a championship-caliber roster for next season. It now has a chance to erase years of playoff disappointment. Over the long term, over the life of LeBron's contract, he can continue preparing young core players like Maxey for the biggest postseason moments. If LeBron retires when this deal ends, the team's younger starters may already have grown into battle-tested playoff performers capable of carrying a larger burden. Philadelphia could remain a serious championship contender for many years afterward. The city of Philadelphia has not touched the championship trophy in decades. Embiid has endured repeated playoff heartbreak, while Jaylen was cast aside despite already proving he could win at the highest level. LeBron's arrival brings this long-frustrated team the two things it needs most: priceless playoff experience and a steady leadership presence. Across more than 20 years in the NBA, LeBron has made countless major decisions, but this may be the one least constrained by money, geography, or family considerations. driven almost entirely by his obsession with winning. We often assume that after 40, even the deepest passion eventually gives way to a comfortable life. LeBron has shown everyone through his actions that a genuine love of basketball, when it runs bone deep, cannot be erased by age or familiarity. People once said he carefully weighed every decision. Now, at 41, he has somehow become more driven by the game itself than ever. He walked away from every familiar advantage. He chose an unfamiliar city, all because of the unfinished business still burning inside him, all because of that most primal desire to win. Time has worn down the sharpness of his body, but it has preserved the same competitive heart he had as a teenager, the heart that always wants to win. LeBron did consider retirement, but he believed that even at 41, he could still do something meaningful. So after weeks of pressure and anticipation from across the league, he finally made his decision. The Philadelphia 76ers. Over the past year, he has already proved what he can still do. Now, the Sixers have become a legitimate contender to come out of the East. In Philadelphia, he will be genuinely needed. He will join an MVP trying to rediscover who he once was, a Finals MVP who was cast aside, an all-star guard who still has something to prove in the playoffs, and a gifted young guard. Together, they will chase one dream. He wants to taste a championship one more time. This is the fourth major free agency decision of his career. The first time, he put himself directly at the center of controversy and fulfilled his championship dream. The second time, he returned home and kept his promise. The third time, he chose the biggest stage in basketball. Even this decision does not feel entirely final. After all, it is a roughly $4 million first-year salary with a player option for year 2. You can still imagine LeBron playing even longer. Maybe this is what Rich Paul meant by finding true fulfillment. Every time LeBron makes a decision, he changes the league. Even as he approaches 42, his longevity still makes the passage of time feel surreal. And you still want to see what else he can do, don't you? I wonder whether you noticed this detail. Joe Bryant, Kobe Bryant's father, was one of the players who once wore number 23 for the Sixers. Now LeBron has left the Lakers and joined the Philadelphia 76ers. Next season, he will wear number 23. That creates a very special connection. At the 2002 All-Star Weekend in Philadelphia, Kobe wore a number 23 Sixers jersey to honor his father, Joe Bryant, who once played for the franchise. More than 20 years later, this number filled with history has a new owner. Isn't this exactly how one legend passes the torch to another? At 41 years old, LeBron is heading to Philadelphia on a minimum contract, joining Embiid, Jaylen, and Maxey in a championship chase. The same number 23. Two completely different Philadelphia stories. When LeBron puts on that jersey, it will feel like history has come full circle, and the Sixers' number 23 will eventually carry the mark of another legend.